Good morning, Little Masters, and welcome to today's Tolkien Times. I'm the Man of the West, also from the Prancing Pony podcast. Thank you for joining me as I head back into the rich poetry found in Tolkien's epic poem, The Lay of Leithian. Now, last week we finished Canto 10 as Sauron and Lúthien threw down. Today we begin Canto 11 as Nargothrond comes to their senses. Songs have recalled by harpers sung long years ago in elven tongue, how Lúthien and Beren strayed in Sirion's vale, and many a glade they filled with their joy, and there their feet passed by lightly, and days were sweet. Though winter hunted through the wood, still flowers lingered where they stood. Tinuviel, Tinuviel. Still unafraid the birds now dwell, and sing on boughs amid the snow where Lúthien and Beren go. From Sirion's isle they passed away, but on the hill alone there lay a green grave, and a stone was set, and there lie the white bones yet of Finrod fair, Finarfin's son, unless that land be changed and gone, or foundered in unfathomed seas, while Finrod walks beneath the trees in Eldamar and comes no more to the grey world of tears and war. To Nargothrond no more he came, but thither swiftly ran the fame of their dead king and his great deed, how Lúthien the isle had freed. The werewolf lord was overthrown, and broken were his towers of stone. For many now came home at last who long ago to Shadow passed, and like a shadow had returned who on the hound, though scanty earned of praise or thanks from Celegorm. There now arose a growing storm, a clamour of many voices loud, and folk whom Curufin had cowed, and their own king had help denied. In shame and anger now they cried, "Come, slay these faithless lords untrue. Why lurk they here? What will they do but bring Finarfin's kin to naught? Treacherous cuckoo guests unsought, away with them!" But wise and slow Orodreth spoke, "Beware lest woe and wickedness to worse ye bring. Finrod is fallen, I am king. But even as he would speak, I now command you. I will not allow in Nargothrond the ancient curse from evil unto evil worse to work. With tears for Finrod weep repentant, swords for Morgoth keep. No kindred blood shall here be shed. Yet here shall neither rest nor bread the brethren find who set at naught Finarfin's house. Let them be sought, unharmed, to stand before me. Go, the courtesy of Finrod show." In scorn stood Celegorm unbowed, with glance of fire and anger proud and menacing. But at his side, smiling and silent, wary-eyed, was Curufin, with hand on haft of his long knife. And then he laughed, and, "Well," said he, "why didst thou call for us, Sir Steward? In thy hall we are not wont to stand. Come speak, if aught of us thou hast to seek." Cold words Orodreth answered slow. "Before the king ye stand. But no, of you he seeks for naught. His will ye come to hear and to fulfill. Be gone forever, ere the day shall fall into the sea. Your way shall never lead you hither more, nor any son of Fëanor. Of love no more shall there be bond between your house and Nargothrond." "We will remember it," they said, and turned upon their heels and sped, saddled their horses, trussed their gear, and went with hound and bow and spear, alone. For none of all the folk would follow them. No word they spoke, but sounded horns, and rode away like wind at end of stormy day. To Doriath, Lúthien and Beren now were drawing nigh, though bare was bough, and winter through the grasses grey went hissing chill, and brief was day. They sang beneath the frosty sky, above them lifted clear and high. They came to Mindeb, swift and bright, that from the northern mountain's height to Neldoreth came leaping down, with noise among the boulders brown, but into sudden silence fell, passing beneath the guarding spell that Melian on the borders laid of Thingol's land. There now they stayed, for silence sad on Beren fell. Unheeded long, at last too well he heard the warning of his heart. Alas, he thinks, here we must part. "Alas, Tinuviel," he said, "this road no further can we tread together, no more hand in hand can journey in the elven land." "Why part we here? What dost thou say, even at dawn of brighter day?" "For safe thou'rt come to borderlands, o'er which in the keeping of the hands of Melian thou wilt walk at ease, and find thy home and well-loved trees." "My heart is glad when the fair trees far off uprising grey at seas of Doriath inviolate. Yet Doriath my heart did hate, and Doriath my feet forsook, my home, my kin. I would not look on grass nor leaf there evermore without thee by me. Dark the shore of Escalduin, the deep and strong. Why there alone, forsaking song, by endless waters rolling past? Must I then hopeless sit at last, and gaze at waters pitiless, in heartache and in loneliness? For nevermore to Doriath can Beren find the winding path, though Thingol willed it or allowed. For to thy father there I vowed to come not back save to fulfill the quest of the shining Silmaril, and win by valor my desire. Not rock, not steel, nor Morgoth's fire, nor all the power of Elveness shall keep the gem I would possess. Thus swore I once of Lúthien, more fair than any child of men. My word, alas, I now must keep, and not the first of men must weep for oath and pride and anger sworn. Too brief the meeting, brief the morn, too soon comes night when we must part. All oaths are for breaking of the heart, with shame denied, with anguish kept. Ah, would that now, unknown, I slept with Barahir beneath the stone, and thou wert dancing still alone, unmarred, immortal, sorrowless, singing in joy of Elveness. Well, we begin this canto with the grave of Finrod and the comforting fact that he's been released from the halls of Mandos, given his new body, and now walks beneath the trees in Eldamar. But most of this portion of the canto is given over to the story of what happened in Nargothrond after Finrod's death. Specifically, after the people of his kingdom learned the truth of what Celegorm and Curufin did. They wanted vengeance, to kill the cuckoo guests. And for those who don't get that reference, it's a reference to the fact that cuckoo birds are what are known as brood parasites. They lay their eggs in the nests of other birds, eggs that hatch earlier than the host eggs, and a bird that grows faster, typically getting rid of the eggs and or young of the host bird. You can see where they're going with this. But I love how Orodreth, with whom I was not impressed earlier, takes a page from Finrod's wise leadership and refuses to allow the killing of the Sons of Fëanor. But he will not give them rest or bread and kicks them out. And then we switch back to Beren and Lúthien long enough for Beren to lament that he now has to keep his word to Lúthien's father, King Thingol. He cannot return to Doriath without a Silmaril in his hands. All oaths are for breaking of the heart, he says, as he even laments his own survival. Well, you can bet Lúthien has some words to say about this, and we'll hear from her next week. For now, though, folks, that's it for today's First Stage Friday. Come back next week for more. We'll eventually get back to Fandom Fridays, so if you know anybody who should join me here for a future Fandom Friday, let me know by emailing barliman@theprancingponypodcast.com. Please visit patreon.com/TolkienTimes to learn how you can support the show, get an ad-free feed, a monthly hangout with me, a bonus weekly episode, and a lot more. And join me again tomorrow on today's Tolkien Times as we wrap up this week with Silmarillion Saturday. If you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Please follow or subscribe in your podcast apps and follow @Tolkien Times on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Finally, as Faramir says, go with the goodwill of all good men.